Okay, it's late. I'm tired, you're tired, I don't even know anymore. I just want to point out this whole video. It is like 1:46 a.m. I don't give a crap. Some of you guys have been seeing this picture go around. And maybe some of you guys have been hearing the whole Fukase is finally on Japanese TV again. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, I get it. But I'm gonna try and like condense it down to the simplest of 2 to hopefully 3 minutes-ish of footage. I guess future me, if this footage goes beyond 3 minutes, you're free to slap me. So the TV program is called SekiJam. It is a music-focused television program in Japan that recently aired a Vocaloid-centered episode that featured 3 different Vocaloid producers who have risen to fame due to their contributions to the Vocaloid community. It does talk about Vocaloid, but it's sort of like a half-half sort of thing. First off is Kujira. Kujira is the producer of a song called Haru no Tsugeru featuring Yama, and this song is prominently featured in the television segment. Some Vocaloid songs by Kujira that you might recognize would be Nemuri Machi, Kinmokusei or Osmanthus, and Kurenai Bokura wa or To Live, all 3 songs which mainly use flower. The second Vocaloid producer is Sudo, and Sudo is a producer of really popular song Usewa featuring Ado. Some Vocaloid songs that you might recognize from Sudo would be Bitter Chocolate Decoration, Jackpot Sad Girl, and Callboy. And Sudo mainly uses Miku in his songs. 2 of the songs that I just mentioned, Bitter Chocolate Decoration and Jackpot Sad Girl, might be a bit familiar to newer Vocaloid fans, because for Bitter Chocolate Decoration, it was featured in the recent Miku Expo 2021, featured in Utsupi's Digital Stars segment where he played the song on the live stream. So some people who are new to Vocaloid or new to Miku in general might have seen the expo and you might recognize it from there. The second song that I mentioned, which is Jackpot Sad Girl, is a song that a lot of people might recognize it from Project Sekai. This is a song that Sudo was commissioned to make for the game. It was one of the songs for the Unit 25D Night Code. The third Vocaloid producer that was introduced is Keina Suda, otherwise known as Balloon, and he is the producer of Charles, aka Shadowrun, featuring V Flower. This song was also featured in Project Sekai for 25D Night Code in their song list. Balloon primarily uses flower, and 2 songs that you might recognize from Balloon would be Mabel and Ameto Petora, or Rain and Petra. The TV program basically talked about where Vocaloid started, how it started. It even mentioned Leon and Lola as the first 2 Vocaloids that were ever made, so that's a pretty nice cameo for anyone who's fans of those 2 Vocaloids. It also talks about how Vocaloid producers, or otherwise known as Vocaloid P in Japan, how they create their songs, and comparing it between creating a song in real life where you're standing in a booth and someone is commanding you how to sing, as opposed to a Vocaloid producer just sitting at their computer and creating the songs on their own manually. Yeah, I'm obviously not going to talk about the entire video. I don't want to bore all of you, but I am going to just talk about how some of the Vocaloids made mini appearances and how was Vocaloid featured in the TV program. If you want to go watch the whole thing, you just gotta go find your own way to do it. I apologize because I cannot stream the whole video on YouTube. I'm obviously gonna get shunned for that. So yeah, let's just talk about how many Vocaloids made appearances in there. First thing that I noticed was that there were 4 different keywords associated with Vocaloid in Japan. The first one is the obvious, it's Hatsune Miku. She is the most popular Vocaloid out there. Another keyword that was used was actually Hachi, and some of you guys might recognize him as the producer of Matryoshka and Panda Hero, both songs were actually heard during the television broadcast. The third keyword associated with Vocaloid is Senbon Zakura, a really well-known song that was released in 2011 and created by the producer Kurosa P, or White Flame P, as some people might recognize him. The last one is Shadowrun, which is the Japanese phonetic translation for Charles. In other words, the song featuring V Flower. That song is another keyword for Vocaloid. So another thing that you guys might want to know is who got featured in here. What kind of voices did we hear during this whole television broadcast? Well, here I am. I'm gonna tell you. So the image that you saw just now featured some of the really popular ones that are still talked about in Japan, which is Miku, Yumi, Kageme no Rin Ren, Meiko, Iya, Kamui Gakpo, Megumi Luka and Flower and Kaito. But surprisingly, I read through the whole thing. Not all of them talk. And even more surprisingly, 2 of them who do talk are not in there. Unfortunately, Luka, Rin, Len, Meiko, Iya, and Gakpo didn't really get any sort of speaking role or didn't get any song cameos at all. We didn't hear their voices, unfortunately. But Kaito did. Kaito had a speaking portion, and this is how it sounds like.
Konnichiwa. Kaito da yo. Yoroshiku.
And the second Vocaloid that made an appearance in the television program in a speaking role is the one everyone keeps talking about, saying that he's finally on television and getting attention. And yeah, you guessed it, it's Fukase.
男性キャラクターや
深瀬です。みんなのために歌うよ。
セカオは深瀬の声を収録したボーカロイドなど特徴は様々。
I'm going to guess that they decided to put Vocaloid Fukase in this television program mainly because of his voice provider, Satoshi Fukase's rising popularity. If you guys don't know who he is basically the lead singer for a band called Sekai no Owari. And not only has their band become a lot more popular in Japan and in the western side of music, but also because Satoshi Fukase has become notably more popular in Japan as one of the cast members for a recent movie called Character. I imagine that might be why they put him in there, to get people to recognize that, oh hey, there's this pop band that's main vocalist also has a Vocaloid. And the other thing is, I mentioned that there were 2 vocal synths that were not featured in the picture but were featured in voice. And the thing is, the last vocal synth is not a Vocaloid, it's actually a voice droid. It's Tohoku Kiritan. Kiritan was featured in a bit of a speaking role as well because one of the hosts actually is also a Vocaloid song producer, and he admits that he uses Tohoku Kiritan. This is how she sounds like in the preview program.
このキリタンの声が
はじめまして、東北キリタンです。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Yeah. So that's basically it for voice lines. Again, like I said, it's just those 3, Kaito, Fukase, Tohoku, and Tohoku Kiritan. As for the last 3 that I didn't really just audibly mention, Mikugumi and Flower were featured a little bit more prominently. Like I said earlier, when Hachi was being mentioned, 2 of his songs, Matryoshka and Panda Hero, were being played. So obviously the audience got to hear Gumi through Matryoshka and Panda Hero.
これを米津さんがやってたのすげえな。
Miku, especially since she was highlighted as a keyword, also got a number of songs that were played with her voice. So Miku Miku Shite Ageru and Melt were both played. And the other thing was, because this whole segment is teaching people about Vocaloid and how far it's come and how amazing it is as a vocal synth program that you can just make music on your own, they also actually had some audio demos as well. That is, there was a literal screen that shows you how Vocaloid works. There was a screen that showed you how to do that, and they did that for Miku. And they also did that for Flower, and for Flower's case, it was Balloon specifically who just decided to alter her voice a little bit and just show the audience how it actually worked.
DAW。DAW。はい。すごい。すげえ。早っ。うわ調教してる。
So that's pretty much it for what was mentioned Vocaloid wise. I am going to just nitpick about a few stuff that I found kind of interesting during the entire presentation, so just bear with me here. Like I said, they really showed off where these 3 producers, Kujira, Sudo, and Balloon, were studying and creating their songs. It was kind of funny to just see how different their workspaces look like. I think the program is also situated to really teach people about the music production line and music industry in general. So that was when they categorized Vocaloid music as DTM. In other words, desktop music. At one point they also mentioned about the Vocaloid Parameters. I obviously can't read all of that expertly, but I'm pretty sure they're just whatever you expect inside a Vocaloid editor. So like dynamics, velocity, breath, character, all those parameters. You probably would have noticed sometimes during these videos that you would see like little clips of specifically Kujira and Sudo talking, but they seem to not have any faces, and the reason for this is because they already said that they don't want to show their faces on live television. So the lighting is not a faulty like mechanic or anything like that. They purposely decided to just dim the lighting completely so you don't see their faces. This is on purpose. I just thought that was kind of cool. You usually don't expect that. You expect them to be like on a screen or something, like a video call. But that was cool, and I kind of liked that. That was cute. And there you have it. That's pretty much it for the television program. But there's a possibility that we're going to see Rinlen, Meiko, Ia, Gakpo, and Luca speak on another occasion. The reason I say this is because this current TV program that I've just analyzed is basically talking about Kujira and his journey to becoming a Vocaloid song producer. We still haven't seen Sudo and Balloon's path onto becoming Vocaloid producers, so it's very much possible that we're gonna get more voice lines and more little Vocaloid interactions and things like that when they have their televisions. If you want to keep up with this television program in general, you can check out the Twitter links in the description below. It goes to their Twitter, and every time they have a show, they will be sending out a tweet, they'll be sending out who is in it and what kind of thing they're going to talk about, and hopefully maybe then you can get to take a look. Anyway, I just really want to make this video to sort of show the Western side of Vocaloid, that there are people who are learning about Vocaloid for the first time in their entire lives. Like literally, some of these like audience members who were reacting to Vocaloid, they were really impressed, and it's actually super refreshing to watch this whole thing and just to see people, you know, discover Vocaloid for the first time and listen about Vocaloid for the first time. It feels like a nostalgia trip in certain ways, and it's also very comforting to know that there are people who like Vocaloid is not just some niche thing. It's actually like it has been around for a long time, and I don't think it's gonna go out for any time soon. I'm pretty confident about that. So yeah. Anyway, I don't really know how to end this because this is like the first time I've used a voice, like my voice, and I don't really like my voice sometimes. But yeah, I guess there you go, guys. Have fun with it. Bye.